What? Another Bigsby installation video for YouTube? Yes, but this is the newest one until someone else uploads one. But in all honesty, I'm hoping that you get something out of this. That's the purpose of any kind of project that I document, is that you can glean some useful information from it. And hopefully that's the case for this video. I'm going to show you how I installed a Bigsby B7 plus Vibramate on my Gibson Les Paul, and then I'm going to do a sound comparison of the before and after just to see if there's any difference. But before I do that, I want to talk briefly about the Bigsby and Vibramate, like where I got them, how much they cost, how much they weigh, things like that. So I feel that I paid a pretty good price for both of these, which was a combined $185. I actually found them on Walmart.com of all places, but Walmart was just kind of the middleman. They were actually coming from Ultimate Music Direct. But what happened was kind of odd. I put them in my cart, purchased them, the sale went through, and then it got canceled because I guess they ran out of supply. So then I went looking for this Bigsby and Vibramate all across the internet, and I couldn't find anything reasonably close to what I had previously tried to pay for them. So long story short, I was actually able to find Ultimate Music Direct. I contacted them directly, and they honored the original price of $185. Now typically, if you were to buy the B7 by itself, it would cost you anywhere from $180 to $225. The V7 or Vibramate by itself costs about $50 to $60 brand new. So normally you're looking at $230 to $285 for a combined cost. Again, I paid $185, so I feel like I did pretty good. Now really quickly, I feel like there's some things you need to know about the Bigsby and the Vibramate, like what their models are and how they fit together. Bigsby, believe it or not, has quite a few different versions, but the most popular models are the ones with a 5 in the number or a 7 in the number. So I'm going to try to give you a brief rundown of their various models. Bigsby actually has two different lines. There's the Kalamazoo line and the Lightning line. Kalamazoo is more the original, and the way they're made is sandcast. Lightning is more of a modern take, and the way they're made is die-cast. I'll be honest, I don't really know the difference between the two, but like I said, Kalamazoo is more of the original version, and that's how they were made back in the day. So the way I'm going to break this down is by a number designator that will tell you which guitar the Bigsby fits on for either line, whether it's the Kalamazoo line or the Lightning line. If it has the said number in it, it will fit said guitar. Hopefully it'll make sense. If you see a Bigsby with a 3 in the model number, be it a B3, a B30, or B300, those are going to fit thin, hollow, or semi-hollow electric guitars. These are pretty rare, and I think they mainly fit like Gretsch smaller guitars, maybe like the Duo Jets. Like I said, they're pretty rare. If you see a Bigsby with a 5 in the model number, that means it fits a flat-topped, solid body guitar. Think Tellys, SGs, and Les Paul Juniors. These are a very popular version. A 6 in the model number is basically just a bigger version of the 3, and it fits larger hollow body guitars. Think like Gretsch Falcons. A 7 in the model number, like the one I purchased, of course fits Les Pauls, 335s, and many Gretsch guitars. And then there's even more oddball versions like the 11, 12, 16, and of course you have like the aluminum finishes and the gold finishes, and so on and so forth. Now I will say that Vibramate really only makes models that fit the 5 and 7 versions of Bigsby's. In other words, there's V5 and V7 types of Vibramates, but really there's nothing else that's going to fit another type of Bigsby. It's also important to note, I believe, that Vibramates only fit the Kalamazoo versions of the Bigsby's. So in other words, the V5 is only going to fit like the B5, and the V7 is only going to fit the B7. So they're not going to fit the Lightning versions of Bigsby's that are die-cast. So the original sand-cast Kalamazoo versions are what Vibramate fits their molds to, and so those are the ones that are going to line up, and you may encounter issues if you try to mate it up with a different version of Bigsby. And finally, I wanted to let you know how much these things weigh if you're trying to keep the weight down on your guitar. The Bigsby itself with the spring and the washer weighs about 12 ounces, give or take. And then the Vibramate with all the components that go along with it to attach, of course, the Bigsby to the guitar weighs about 2 ounces. So combined weight for both of those is about 4 ounces, which of course is about 2 ounces shy of a pound. I don't know what that is. I think that's about half of a kilogram for you folks in Europe. But anyway, the combined weight of both of these is going to be about a pound. So just consider that. That's going to add a pound to your guitar if you choose to go this method. Without further ado, let's get into the installation and the sound clips. Thanks for watching. All right, time to install this Bigsby. I'm pretty excited about this because it's gonna be so little effort. Last time I installed a Bigsby, I had to drill holes in the top of my guitar and it was a little bit scary. So this should be a lot more pleasant and quick experience. Just gonna take the tailpiece off there and then these guys screw out very easily. So now I'm going to take my Imperial screws that come in the Vibramate kit, along with the piece here, the adapter piece, with the nice foam cushion there, and screw those in. So I think I want these with the slotted heads. Let's see if that works. Yes, it does. Okay, I'm just gonna screw these down with the flathead screwdriver. Not very tight, or not overly tight, I guess, especially for the moment. Alright, so that should be good, and I have to take the end strap pin off as well. So this strap button screw I pulled out isn't that long. The one that comes with the Vibramate kit is a bit longer, not that much. Here's a little comparison, if you can tell. Hopefully they are the same thread size or pitch and everything so that I don't run into any issues. I would like to use the longer one, especially since there will be so much more material there. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to take the front pads off of the bottom of the Bigsby. The Vibramate tells you to do that, so we'll see how easily they come off. Pretty easy. All right, and done. So now the Bigsby goes on top of the Vibramate like so. Of course, I have to put this guy in between the bottom of the Bigsby and the butt end of the guitar. So I also have to attach it to the Bigsby itself. So yeah, before I put the screws in up here, I'm going to put this plate on the bottom piece here. And I'm going to use, of course, the 4 screws that are supposed to go there. And the way you can tell them apart, even though you can't see them very well, these 2 screws are larger, so you know that they go up here. And that's basically it. So I'm making this harder for myself because the camera is in the way, but nevertheless, we'll get these screws in here. So it looks like my existing strap button will not fit flush down into this area here. It's a little bit bigger, and so if I just push down on it, I can wobble it a bit. That's how I can tell. I mean, I could get it to work, but I think I'm gonna have to use this spacer that came with it. So you just put that there and it makes it where it has a tight fit. So that's quite a bit of it's quite a lot of thickness I got to overcome there with my screw that's going in there for strap button. So let's see just kind of a rough idea of how much of the screw is actually going to be in the body of the guitar. That's quite a bit, I guess. So yeah, so I guess we're ready to install this, I do want to put that little felt pad on there. I guess I don't have to. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not, now that I think about it. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna put it on there because it's not up against the wood, and we have this felt pad there. So, so now it's gonna be just kind of a little bit of a dance between getting these screws in here and the strap button down in there. So let's go ahead and try to put these up here for the moment. Okay, it's just kind of barely in there. This one, kind of the same thing. Let's see what we got going on down here. All right, so yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of tension up here because I have to bring this down a little bit, but that's just the way it is, and it's the way it's designed. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in here now. And I did check that this screw does go into the body of the guitar like the other one did. It threaded in there fine, just fine, and so it's not going to be an issue. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down pretty good there. And then now I can come up here and finish tightening these screws. Alright, so it looks like we should be good to go. So the actual Bigsby isn't touching down here on the body, and the felt pad isn't touching either. It's we should be good. Of course, I got to string it up, put in the spring and all that good stuff, and we'll see how it goes. Now I do have to put new strings on the guitar because of course the old ones would not be long enough to reach down to the part of the Bigsby where they attach. So I am going to put the same kind of strings on, Ernie Ball regular Sinkies, so that my sound comparison is as close as possible, but of course they are different strings. The ones I took off were not that old, they were had barely been played, so it should be a pretty good apples to apples comparison, but just wanted to make it clear that I do have to put on new strings. And just so you know, I'm putting this white plastic washer in this location, so it'll be above the spring. The way the directions read, it says, it's not really explicit, but it says place the white plastic washer underneath, or it says in the cup underneath the handle. So I'm assuming that's directly underneath the handle and it goes on top. So I don't remember my other Bigsby equipped guitar if I put it on the bottom or the top. I've seen people do both, so I'm not exactly sure which one is right, but that's the way I'm going with it, and I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, here's a pro tip for you, and by pro I mean I'm not a pro in any way, and I usually fly by the seat of my pants. But if you want to reuse your strings with a Bigsby, you can loosen them up at the headstock enough to get a little bit of slack on the ball end here, and just take them off of the Bigsby, and then you can just feed them through, do whatever you need to do, lay them to the side, and reuse them. Stringing Bigsby is not always the easiest, but you should be able to get them back on. At least that's what I hope. And that's my pro tip. All right, moment of truth. Can I get this string back on the Bigsby post somehow, some way? Oh, it's on. Look at that. All right. It's probably going to be the easiest one. Maybe not. We'll see how the rest go. A string, baby. Don't let me down. Don't fail me now. On. Look at that. D string. Boom. My pro tip is actually standing up to field testing. And G string. It's got a really bad pokey thing. I'm hoping I don't puncture my skin or my finger. G string is in. Haha, G string. B string. Come on, B string. Boom. High E string. You can do it. Boom. Done.
You are brighter than the summer sun.